Hello, guys. Welcome back to Morgan Rees Live Speaker. We're trying something new this time as we usher ourselves into the year 2026. My message today is it hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. I'm going to repeat that for y'all guys one more time. It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. It started back in 1996. I met this guy. It was not a meeting where, you know how you walking down the street, you being who you be, you hanging out with whoever you hanging out with, and you happen to see that guy that you like, and you say, you know what? I want to be with him. For me and my journey, that was not how I met my ex-husband, my youngest daughter's dad. I met him in a unconventional situation. I was a person who had a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of low self-worth, low self-esteem. And in having this and in being this person, I accepted a lot from a lot of different people. But this is the first relationship where I can actually say, I endured, I overcame, I went through, I experienced domestic violence. But at that time, I didn't see it as domestic violence. I saw it as, well, I'm in a relationship with somebody who actually think it's fine to hurt me, not just emotional, not just mental, but physical. And that was me. And that was who I was going through with this man beginning in 1996. 30 days, God gave me red flags. At that time, I didn't see it as red flags. I kept saying, well, this keeps happening to me. What's going on? What's wrong with this situation? There's something that's not right. 30 days, though. In 30 days, we met. The first day we met, it was an unconventional situation where my money was stolen. Yes, I'm going to repeat that to you again. My money was stolen. And me not having good wisdom at that time, good guidance at that time, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why this was happening. And I confronted him and the person that was with him and a young lady who I thought was my friend. And they all gave me an excuse of what happened to my money. And in them 30 days, I'm going to just tell y'all this. It hurts to be hurt. And God felt it too. But I guess because I didn't see that was truly hurt and I should have ran like I normally did in all relationships or any relationship that was not conducive for me, Satan seemed like he had me. And what happened was that night was coming to an end, and he comes back. After the situation with my money, nobody never really told me the truth what happened to my money. So within those 30 days, life was life, y'all. When I tell you life was life and life was life. I lost my job. Found out I got pregnant. All within 30 days. But I'm going to tell you how the trick of the enemy works was what I learned is stop sharing all your business to anybody you get in a relationship with, no matter who it is, whether it's your friend, whether it's an intimate partner. It doesn't matter who they are, unless God says that person is safe, that person is going to see your heart and that person is going to feel your heart. Be careful who you share your life journey with. And me being your girl, Morgan, I'm sharing my life with anybody that will listen to me, to let them know the things that I went through, the things that I was experiencing, how my mother was treating me the way she was treating me, how I didn't really know my father, didn't meet my dad till I was 21. But in relationships, I'm sharing my most intimate hurts and pain. And prior to me meeting this guy, I was actually already in a hurt over a previous guy that I thought we were supposed to be together. And this guy abruptly leaves me. After about a period of years we had been together, he says he has to go. He has to leave. He has to move to another state. And I'm like, well, why do you got to leave? You know, we're getting along. You know, I love you. I know you love me, and we should be together. But this relationship that I ended up with with my ex-husband was stemmed off still from that hurt and pain. So ladies, men, let me tell you, when you are hurt, when you are in pain from a previous relationship, until you get your healing, don't jump in another relationship with somebody else. don't be like me or be like, well, I'm already hurt and pain. As they say, when you break up a relationship, you get up under somebody new. Listen to the words that come out of my mouth. That's not true. You don't get into a new relationship, especially if you got hurt and pain from the previous relationship, because all you're doing is carrying that pain to the next relationship that you did not get healed from the previous relationship. And so with this guy, he left, and I didn't know why he left. And he said he was going to come back and visit, and he never did. Then later, I found out he leaves to go be with someone else. And I'm thinking that we were supposed to be me and him, the same person he already told me about. So I'm start dating all these new guys, and this guy, my ex-husband, pops up out of nowhere. This is in the year '96, y'all. It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. So I'm in a relationship with this guy for 30 days, lose my job, get pregnant. So when I find out I'm pregnant, I tell him I'm pregnant. Actually, I wasn't even going to tell him I was pregnant. Let me rewind. I wasn't even going to tell him I was pregnant. I went to the doctor like I normally do, get my checkup. Anytime I meet anybody new, I always go to the doctor to make sure he ain't got nothing and make sure he ain't giving me nothing. I was always try to practice safety. And so I go to the nurse, and so she said, Nurse Carol, same nurse that delivered my other two children. She said, well, let's do a pregnancy test just to make sure you're not pregnant. I was like, oh, I ain't pregnant. You ain't got to worry about that. She was like, well, let's just check. And she comes back and she says, Morgan, you pregnant? I said, no. What am I going to do? I don't want no another child. I'm trying to get myself together with the first two kids. And I meet this man while I was living in the projects. So I'm thinking, I'm trying to help me get out of these projects. I'm trying to live my life. I'm trying to have a better journey than what I'm at now. And so and so she tells me, she said, well, go back and tell him and see what he says. Because, he may be happy that you pregnant by him. And so I said, okay, because if he's not, I may end up, making the wrong choice, or I may just end up letting him go. And because I already had told him, remember, familiar spirits, when you're telling somebody your journey, the devil already using that information. They already knew what you've been through. Because you already shared that. No, you can't tell if you don't tell nobody what you went through, what you endured, what you overcame, what you went through. They don't know how to use that against you. And so I tell him I'm pregnant. And he's the first guy out of my three children that was actually happy that I was pregnant. So Satan was like, got it. Okay. I can use this to reel her in. Because she already told me she wasn't getting no love from her family. Her mom didn't know how to treat her right. Her mother had mental health issues. She didn't really know her dad. And she didn't really have a great relationship with other guys, because she was looking for a relationship of love. And the ones that she was getting relationships of love, they was running from her. So, good. I'll tell her I'm happy now. She got a baby by me, and I got in the door. Again, guys, it hurt to be hurt. God felt it too. Soon as that happened, I'm finding out I'm pregnant first time in my life. I found out within 30 days. My other two pregnancies, actually my other three pregnancies, the two that's alive, I found out I was pregnant 3 months later. This is 30 days. The 30 days was a red flags, lose a job, money was stolen, ended up back on public assistance. So I had to get back on public assistance because I lost my job. And so, back in the day, if you're pregnant, you have to name the father of your child so they can be able to put him in the system to put him on child support. Now, ladies, gentlemen, I was not one of those people that believed in child support. So my first child's dad, I did not put on child support. My second child's dad didn't have no relationship with him, was afraid that, that he wasn't going to really be around like he was supposed to be. And he ended up showing that at the end. So I didn't believe in that. I figured, well, God blessed me to take care of my kids myself. I don't need no child support. Well, my youngest daughter's dad tells me, don't put my name on there because, I got, this. Put your oldest daughter's name to put him on there so he can help pay us. And I'm like, huh? Again, not having wisdom and discernment. My mind is already cloudy. I was already going through hurt and pain. I'm pregnant. I lost my job. I'm with this guy that I still really don't know a lot about, but I'm telling him all the things that I went through, and I'm looking to him as he's going to be my protector. So I do that. I listened to this man because again, I was always one of those people. I'm humble. I'm gonna submit to the man that I'm with. So I do that, and that's when the wheels took off. So once I went through all that turmoil and that hurt and that pain and that disappointment, 30 days keep going. Time is going. We moved from the apartment side of the projects to the house side of the projects. We get in an argument about something. He always liked to cause arguments. Now I learned later on, he didn't like that I was happy. He didn't like that when I was around other people, when we were together, people were seeing me happy and I was spreading my light and my love and my sunshine with anybody that I could spread my light and my love and my sunshine with. He did not like that. So I am telling you, it hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. The first time this man hit me, we're in an argument on the house side, and we was arguing. I don't even know what we were arguing about. And he said, I was calling him out about how he wasn't taking care. He wasn't helping me out. He had me struggling, pregnant with his child. Actually, no, I already had my child by the time we moved to the house side. Prior to that, we in the apartment side. I'm going back. I'm moving a little bit too fast. Going back, we're in the apartment side. The man wouldn't get a job, and we would get a job. He wouldn't keep the job. I was still in school. I asked him, I said, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to go to school? Or what are you going to school for? I said, well, I'm in school for IT. Well, I want to do what you're doing. I said, no, if that's not what you into, don't follow what I'm doing. No, I'm going to go to school. Oh, you can get grants, you can get loans. That's all he was thinking about. But I really think about that as back then. Again, I'm telling you my journey of it hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. My journey of being in 17 years of domestic violence with an ex-husband that I did not realize and recognize that that's what that was until after I got out of that marriage, after I got out of that relationship. So he goes to school for IT as well. He goes to school for 30 days. He didn't even stay in school long. He got it in there long enough to get the money. Didn't really see a lot of that money though. Jesus. I promise you, I'm sharing this journey as I'm remembering, and I'm getting confirmation, I'm getting revelation, and I'm sharing it with you. So I am, my Lord. We moved. We struggled on the apartment side. He went to school, didn't last in school. Would get a job, would lose a job. Would come home and say this was happening, that was happening. Everything was always on me. I was the breadwinner. I was the head of the household in this marriage, in this relationship. This is prior to us getting married. We were just dating then. We dated for about 7 years before I asked him to marry me. I'll give you that in a minute. But anyway, put a pin in there. So we moved to the house side, and we get in an argument about something. And I said, and I'm telling him, I know what it was. I'm telling him who he was, what he was not doing. You're not helping me out. I need your help. You're supposed to be my man. You're supposed to be with me. You're supposed to help me provide. Help me keep food in our house, clothes in our back. Help me, because I'm supposed to be your woman. I'm supposed to be your girlfriend. You want me to be your wife. You're calling me the name that I didn't even like for you to call me. You're making me call the name I didn't like to call you. Yes, ladies, he would make me call him daddy, and he would call me mommy. And this was not in an intimate setting. This was an everyday setting, because the first time I had to do it in public, I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed. But later on, I realized that's obviously how he saw me as his mom, even though I wasn't his mom. Ladies, yes, we do get with men that are just like our dads. Men, yes, you do get with women that are just like your mom. It all depends on what part of your mom you get into that relationship with that woman. Sometimes you get into the good side of a relationship with your mom, and sometimes you get into the bad side of a relationship with your mom. So yes, men, we gotten relationships that were similar to our dad. For me, this was the first relationship that I saw the bad side of my dad. All the other men, they only showed me the good side. I would get in relationships with men, and they would say, oh, you too nice, you too sweet. I don't think we're going to work out. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm like, no, what do you need me to do? I'll change. I'll be whoever you wanted me to be. And they would say, no, stay who you are. But I know if I get in a relationship with you, I'm going to hurt you, and I don't want to do that to you. When I got with my youngest daughter's dad, he didn't care about that, because he was thinking, oh, this is jackpot. She liked the work. She loves to clean. She loves to cook. She loves me, and she don't really know all my flaws yet. She don't know all my failures yet, but she's still loving me. So we in this argument, and He said, you keep saying that, I'm going to punch you in your face. And I was like, you're not going to punch in my face. Because ladies, again, I always promised myself I would never get in a relationship with a man if he hit me. I know how many of your ladies said that. I know how many of you men said, if I get in a relationship and that person did this to me, the relationship comes to an end. It did not. So he kept saying, you keep saying I'm going to punch you, and I'm going to punch you, I'm going to punch in your face. And I said, you punching my face. You punching my face. Yeah, I had attitude back then. Like I was that bold soldier back then. And he said, you keep it up. You keep it up. I'm going to punch in your face. And he punched me right dead in my eye. He punched me right dead in my eye. He punched me. And I cried and I screamed and I said, you punched me. I can't believe you hit me. Well, you kept saying what you were saying. And I told you I was going to punch you. And I'm crying like I cannot believe this man just punched me in my eye. When you accept that bad behavior, because you were already accepting bad behavior from either your childhood, from either your current adulthood, that bad behavior will follow you until you get your healing, your deliverance. So after he punches me, I was ready to break up with him right then and there. I had to go to school that next day and told one of my, I figured I had to get one of the girls who was my girlfriend. And she said, what happened? And I told her, she said, you need to leave that man alone. And I was like, I am, because I can't believe he just did this to me. I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go. I didn't let him go because I didn't think, who going to have my back? Who can I go and tell that this man punched me in my eye? I kind of pretty much had already let go all the guys that I was dating. I didn't really have a lot of male friends left in my life. Didn't have no family I can really rely on. Didn't have no uncles that I can go to. Didn't have no male cousins that I can go to. Because remember, I come from a family of dysfunction. I come from a family who hurt me. Again, it hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. It hurt to be hurt. I was already being hurt. I was getting hurt by my mom. I was being hurt by my dad. So I didn't know what it looked like to run to people for help. I figured it out on my own. Came back home that night. He apologized, said he was sorry. He won't do it again. First strike. Later on down the relationship, still struggle, guys. The entire 17 years of our marriage, my husband could not keep a job. My ex-husband could not keep a job. The entire 17 years of our marriage, he never paid not one bill. The entire 17 years of our relationship, our marriage, he did not contribute to our to our finances. And then the time that he tried to, later learned again, he was stealing from me the entire 17 years of our relationship / our marriage. He would ask me to help him try to hustle. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what a hustle means. And I was providing him this money weekly, $300, $400, $500, but wasn't getting any of that back. And I'm seeing people on the street who was doing this hustle. And I'm going to them and I'm telling them what's happening. They like, nah, that man's stealing from you. That man either stealing it and he using it, or he's stealing from you and he using it. And I'm like, stealing from me, using it? No, I don't think he is. You sure he's not? I'm like, no, I don't think he was. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he was using the entire time and stealing from me the entire time. But my eyes was blinded. I couldn't see. I had no support. Even when people who was telling me, who was not my family, was telling me, and I was like, no, I'm going to stick by him because he's the only one out of all the relationships that I got that actually want my child. And I didn't want to, I know what it looks like to not be in a family-oriented family relationship. And I was trying to create that with this man, guys. With this man. How'd that work out for me? Not too well. Not too well at all. So let's keep going. I'm going to keep going, guys. It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. So the money I was giving him, he was giving me $50 here, $75 here. And I kept saying, wait a minute, no. This is not what I was told. Even when my daddy was doing, And then, no, this is not what it was. And he kept giving me a lie after lie after lie after lie. Kept getting a job, lose a job. Because he knew I'm going to take care of everything. I was the head of the household. I really was the breadwinner of the relationship. Fast forward, years go on down the line again. We get into another altercation. He hits me again. This is the first 7 years of our relationship before we get married. So we moved to Southwest Philly, side of town, thinking, okay, we finally moved out of the projects. Thinking I'm trying to get my life better, move on the southwest side of Philly, and we doing. Now I'm really unhappy because I'm in 7 years of this relationship. I don't see any better. I don't see him getting better no matter how much I tell him that I'm unhappy, how much I tell him I need your help, how much I need your guidance. He would do it for a minute just to keep me quiet, and then he would go back to doing the same thing. But again, I had a lot of low self-esteem, a lot of low self-worth. And then when I would try to be strong, I would weak up. Same thing, how to prey on your weakness. Well, I end up stepping out of the relationship. And as I end up stepping out of the relationship, I step into a relationship at the church of the guy that I didn't know was going to church till later on. I learned he was going to the same church I was going to. I end up in church drama. So I end up in church drama. And the pastor said, I thought she was with somebody. And I said, I am. And I'm telling him about the guy that I'm unhappy. And the man's not doing what he's supposed to do. And I just need your help for helping me. And he said, well, you know what? You might as well just marry because ain't nobody else going to want you. I said, huh? He said, you might as well just marry him because nobody else is going to want you. He was my shepherd. I listened to him. I married my abuser. Oh, I come back home, tell the man after we get put out of this house that we were in, we end up going our separate places. And I end up coming back to him and say, well, I think you should marry me because that's what my pastor said. And he said, marry you after all you did to me. And I was like, well, what about the stuff you did to me? Again, when you don't unpack your baggage from your previous relationship, this man had a lot of baggage before he got in a relationship with me. Men, let me tell you, let's listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. When you don't get healed from your hurt, your pain, your trauma, your disappointment, your rejection, your abandonment, your assault, anything that's happening in your life, your rejection from your mom, your rejection from your dad, your rejection, your abandonment from anybody that's hurt you in your life, and it probably began with one of your parents, if not both of your parents. When you get into a relationship with another female, you plant those seeds of all that hurt, all that pain, all that rejection and abandonment inside that woman. My ex-husband already had his own seed of abandonment because he was 12, 13, 14 years old, I think. His mom put him out because of what he was doing in his life. And he was with his dad, but his dad had his own journey. So it was like him and his dad was on the same journey. Again, we are sometimes just like our parents until we work on ourselves to get our own healing and deliverance. So if we see things that our parents are doing and we know it's not right, and we decide, okay, I don't want to go the way that my parents is going, I'm going to go the right way. You pass that on when you get intimate with that woman because you're hurt and you're looking for love and you're looking for support and you're looking for protection. But instead of you coming to the woman the right way, you just implant all that in her. And now she got that. That's how you get those soul ties and your soul connections. Again, guys, I'm not telling you anything that I have not experienced myself. It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. So this man, his hurt, his rejection, his abandonment from his own mom, from his own dad, he used to always tell me, my mom and my dad may not be the greatest of parents, and my mom may tell me that I can never go back and live with her if something ever happens. And me and my dad go through what we go through. But guess what? My parents are much better than yours. He would tell me that every time he would say something. Every time I would say something to him that was hurting me, he would say that to hurt me back. Endurance is victory. Endurance is victory. Every time we would get into an argument, he would say, well, my parents is better than your parents. Even if my mom and my dad would treat me like this, my parents is better than your parents. It hurts to be hurt. At least my mom wants me. Your mom didn't want you. At least my dad is around. Where your daddy at? It hurts to be hurt. Emotional abuse. So we end up relocating from Philly down to Georgia. It doesn't get better, guys. It got worse. I remember one night I'm waking up in the middle of the night, and I watched this man stand over me with a pillow, trying to smother me. First time, second time, third time, I put him out. It hurts to be hurt, guys. And each time, I bring him right back. But that third time was the nail that was in the coffin that sealed the end of our relationship of 17 years of hurt, 17 years of rejection, 17 years of abandonment. And not just I felt that, experienced that, our child felt that and experienced that. He was not a great example of what a father was supposed to be. He was not a great example of what a husband was supposed to be. He was not a great example of what a man is supposed to be to teach your child. That's why we are daddy's little girls. My dad was trying to be that man, but my dad was doing it in an aggressive way. Again, it's all about your delivery. It does not matter to no man, woman, boy, girl, or child. You can tell a person how you need to tell them, but it's all about the delivery. If I've been used to getting yelled at and hollered at all my life, as I'm becoming an adult, I don't want to continue to be yelled at and hollered at all my life for you to tell me something. It's all about your delivery. My mom was saying, oh, well, it couldn't have been his intimacy because I know how you are. And I was like, no, it really wasn't. Well, why was you with him? And then for her way that she hurt me, she called DHS on me the entire time we were in a relationship 3 different times. Instead of her just saying, I don't like that you're with this man. I'm not happy that you're with this man. I don't think you should be with this man. This man is not good for you. She calls DHS on me. Again, it's all about the delivery. I wasn't getting great delivery. And as I tell you, when I did an interview with the young lady on Hush No More, and she asked me, I know you was getting guidance and wisdom from everybody else. Yes, I was, but it was not from my parents. God gives us parents to guide us. Like Mary and Joseph guided Jesus. Even though Mary was carrying the word, which was Jesus. Jesus was the word. This is the season for us, for the reason. Christmas was Christ. Y'all still in this Christmas thing. It's not about gifts. It's not about the trees. It's not about the decoration. It's about the word that was brought into the world for us. Jesus is the word. Jesus is the truth and the life. He is the one that's carrying the word that we need to hear and we need to receive. And he's using people like me, Morgan Rees, people like other people all over the world. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on TikTok. Subscribe and to my YouTube channel, Morgan Rees Life Speaker. Subscribe to my podcast show, Good Morning Black People. I needed to plug that in there. But again, God uses the people to give the word that he needs to give. The Holy Spirit don't mind. Don't care what you use, long as the word is given. We need to get the word. The words that I was getting from my parents was aggressive words, was abusive words, which is what I was already experiencing while I was in this relationship. And instead of them saying, baby, he's not a good man. If my daddy would have told me before he walked me down the aisle in 2003 to marry this man, boo-boo, he's not a good man. He's not a good fit for you. I would have never married that man. We would just had a big old party. Because literally I paid for my marriage. And I paid for my marriage. Did you hear what I said? It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. I paid for my own wedding. Everybody keeps talking about it to this day, but you had a beautiful wedding. And I also paid for my marriage. I suffered for 17 years. I suffered from birth. I endured abuse from birth. Child abuse. I endured emotional abuse from birth. I endured physical abuse, mental abuse. I endured pretty much since the day I was coming to this earth. But endurance is victory. I don't look like what I went through. I don't look like what my story is. I don't look like what my journey is. That is the purpose. That is the reason. That is the reason why I am sharing what I'm sharing with all of you, what I'm endured, so I can help you, help yourselves go. You can go through your own healing. We can go through your own journey. That last time when I brought him back in 2011-12 for the final time, thinking he was coming back. He finally wanted to start believing in God, so I thought. Finally wanted to start talking about God, so I thought. because his mom was a Jehovah's Witness. So, I was thinking he would eventually start learning about some kind of God, even if it's not the God that I would like for him to listen and learn about. And he comes back, and I'm thinking it's this brand new man, not realizing a wolf in sheep clothing. Satan turned up the heat on me. Final time, I almost get evicted. We moved from that apartment to another house right before my sister had passed in 2012. Right after my sister had passed in 2012. God said, it's time. I'm going to release you from this hurt and pain. I'm going to release you from your unknowing. I'm going to release you from this abuse that you've been enduring for a very, very long time. I walked outside on January the 4th, 2012. No, 2012, 13, I think. Anyway, it was on January 4th. Yes, I walked outside on January the 4th. My car had gotten repoed after a month being behind. Remember, I told you for 17 years, he did not pay not one bill. I go outside, I come back inside. He had his back turned against me. And he said, what did they say? And I said, what do you think they said? They want their money. What are you talking about? He said, okay, well, I know this time you want me gone for good. He said, well, I'll help you pay the money and then I'll leave. He didn't do that. He got forced to leave. Remember, Satan knows when his time is up. He knows when the gig is up. He knows when you're starting to open your eyes to see who you are. When you start opening your ears to hear who God's already called you to be. He already told you who you were. I knew who you were when I formed you before I formed you in your mother's womb. I knew who you were before you even knew your own name. I knew who you were. So because God already knew who Morgan Rees was before he formed me into my mother's womb, he had to open my eyes and he had to say, okay, if I allow this to happen, because I know what kind of child I have, she'll finally let him go this time and won't bring him back. And I said, okay, well, I just need to go I need to get to work because I still had to go to work. Remember, my car got repoed. I couldn't deal with that business right then and there. I had to go to work. I relied on somebody for about a week. And I really was big on not relying on anybody. I was with that true independent woman because I watched my mom rely on men. And I kind of figured she probably was getting abused, but I didn't see her abuse. I just remember when I told her about that second person who molested me, that she was going to do something about it. And she said, well, I said something to him and he slapped me, so I let it go. So I figured she was, but she still allowed it to happen. So I said, well, I'm going to try not to be that person. I tried not to be that person with my children, with any man that I ever was with, to make sure I was trying to protect them by any and all means necessary. So anyway, I go get my car, went through a lot to get the car back. I promise you, the journey was a journey. I'm in the journey. So the time was winding up, and I'm hearing conversations that he's making arrangements to leave to go back to Philly. And he's making arrangements to go stay with some aunt somewhere in Charleston. And I said, well, good. He's getting up out of here because it's time. I'm ready for this ship to be over. And this particular day, the only thing I finally had put his name in the entire 17 years of us being together was this job that I helped him get. And the guy said, well, yo, you got to put his name on in a bill. And I said, no, he ain't never paid not one bill. He said, no, you got to put his name on the bill, because if you don't put his name on the bill, he can't get the job. I said, okay. He said, oh, and also you got to put his name on the lease. I said, I got to put his name. Oh, okay, all right. I put his name on the lease. So I couldn't get his name off the lease because the landlord was giving me trouble. She said, well, I could probably take him off, but you got to do this, you got to do that. She was taking me through the roller coaster ride. Again, your journey is not always easy, even when God is trying to teach you a lesson and get you out of what you already put yourself in. Because again, this is a relationship that I chose. It's not a relationship that God chose. And when you choose your relationship, God's gonna tell you still, you continue to allow you to go through it and let you go through it and endure it and be in it. And don't matter whether it's good or bad, because he wants you to get the lesson out of that relationship that he did not choose for you. Because he said, what I put together, let no man divide. What I put together, let no man separate. What I put together is gonna be good. What I put together, I want to give you somebody that's gonna be after your own heart. I'm going to give you somebody that's going to be just like you, who's going to love like you love, who's going to and been through the things you've been through, who's going to who need to help, who need help overcoming the things you overcame, and you can help them, and they can help you, and you have the same love language, you have the same journeys, and you understand each other. You speak the same thing. You finish each other's thoughts. You love like each other love. You know the love that you needed, because God know the love that you needed, because God is love. And so he's going to give you somebody to give you the same love that you needed back. So it's, again, when you choose a relationship, you're not going to always get that. You may get that right at the beginning. You may get that maybe the first couple of years, but then as time go on, you don't get that no more. You're like, Lord Jesus, how did I get a relationship with this person? This person is not for me. This person is, why did I make this choice? Right. Why did you make the choice? Why did you not wait for God to make the choice? That's why nowadays we need to get in relationships that God makes choices for, not when we make choices. Even though when we make a choice, he's still going to allow it to happen. He's still going to allow it to play out until, if he already had a purpose and a plan for you, if he already had an assignment for you, that assignment got to be fulfilled. That assignment must be complete. It has to, by any all means necessary. My assignment was changing. So I go to the water department and tell the water people what's going on. The lady said, "Oh, I'm sorry you went through that," telling them more about how I was being abused, this and that. I know it's my fault. I should have never brought him back. And she said, no, it doesn't matter. This is that. Don't worry about it. I'll help you get his name off the water bill. And she said, all you got to do is pay the full balance. And I said, okay, what's the balance? The balance, guys, was only $80. I said, okay, I'll pay that. And I said, okay, I'm going to go home and I'm asking for half the money back. Ladies, gentlemen, I go home to ask for half the money back. He said, did you take my name out the water bill? I said, yeah. He said, well, that's all you're getting from me. I'm not giving you no money. I said, okay. Didn't even argue with him. Didn't even fuss with him. I left the house to go to this event just to get away, so it wouldn't be no drama. Because I said I knew his time was winding up. When God said it's time, his time was winding up. I would say, yeah, his time was winding up, because this time he ain't coming back. So I leave the house. I come back this night, like, guys, it's raining. I'm living in the hood in this house. I used to call it Cottage in the Cut. Living in this house. Live right across the street from the substation, a police substation. We're surrounded by police in this neighborhood. So I was always protected. It seemed like I was protected when I didn't know I was being protected, until this night comes. I come back, it's raining so hard. And I come in the house. We finally was not sleeping together, because I always said, if this relationship, no matter what happens in our relationship, if we're upset with each other, we still sleep in the same bed. You just sleep on your side of the bed, I sleep on my side of the bed. But when the relationship is fully coming to the end, you need to get out of my bed, because we're no longer together in this relationship. So I go into my room. He comes in the room with a butcher knife. And he says, I should gut you like a fish. I said, what? And he said, yeah, I heard you with this person. I heard you doing. I said, what are you talking about? When are you leaving? I just need you to get out. You ain't this and you ain't that. I said, you're right. I'm not. You're right. And I said, guess what? You married all of that. I said, obviously I was good at something. I said, because you married me. Not only did you marry me, you gave me a child. So obviously I was great at everything I did when we got in this relationship. And so he puts the butcher knife out, and I try to get away. And so he slaps me. So when he slaps me, I said, this is it. I call the cops. Tell the cops what's going on. They show up. So the cop come, and he said, well, ma'am, y'all need to go in the separate rooms. I said, we was in a separate room. I was in my room and he was in this living room. He said, well, and so all of a sudden he started talking smack. He said, sir, I don't know anybody. I think you are the aggressor. And I'm like, take him. He wouldn't take him. He said, ma'am, just go back into your room and you stay here. And he said, if I had to come back, sir, I'm going to take you back. And he laughed. That demon was laughing. That spirit was laughing. God, he had to torture us some more. So I go back in the room. So I did come out. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, when I'm telling my journey, y'all, I'm going to tell the entire truth. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. Even if it hurts. Even if it's going to get me in trouble. So I said, hey, I need to use the computer. Can you get off the computer? He would not get off the computer. I said, I need to get on the computer. Can you get off the computer? He wouldn't get off the computer. So I hit the circuit breaker. I turned the power off to get him off the computer. He said, if you want to get on the computer, all you had to do was say so. And I'm like, well, I did. I asked you a couple times. So I'm on the computer. He's still talking smack. He pulls out another knife. Again, I don't know where he get these knives from. Where he was hiding these knives. So he gets the knife and he pulls it out on me. And so I jump up. And I'm like, oh, what? Oh, Lord. And I'm leaning against the fireplace. And he said, I should just stab you. He said, you was this, you was that. He just called me all these names. I said, he said, you'll never find another man like me. And I said, you're right. I won't find another man like you on purpose. I said, but one thing, you will never find another woman like me. You'll never find another woman that would still love you and you wasn't doing what you're supposed to do. Still had your back and you wasn't doing what you're supposed to do. Being the woman that I was, you would never find, I'm a one-of-a-kind, unique individual, on purpose type of woman. You would never find another woman like me. He punched me in my eye. He tried to stab me. And I grabbed the knife and I went around him. And thank God my daughter wasn't home this night. To this day, I don't remember I think she told me where she was at. And I ran out the house and I'm trying to find a cop in the neighborhood, guys. In the neighborhood. Not one cop to be found. The substation is empty. So I'm driving down the street and I'm trying to call his mom. I called my mom telling her what's going on. I said, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. You don't care about me. You don't love me. I can't believe I got in this relationship with this man. I'm going through this. And she said, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. I said, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. I got to go. I get to the police station. I had to go all the way to the police station, guys. I'm riding up this 20 block of road, 2-3 miles of road. I don't know, 20 blocks, maybe 2-3 miles of road. Could not find not one policeman in sight. I get to the police station and I tell them what's going on. And I told the female officer, I said, it is my fault. I said, because I brought him back. And she said, no, don't say that. She said, no matter whether you brought him back or not, or no matter what the reason why you brought him back, this is no reason for you to be belittled, berated, or beaten by anyone. But at that time, I couldn't see that. And she said, well, I got to wait for my other officer to come. I said, well, I'm a little dark skinned and you're probably not going to see the black eye. She said, it doesn't matter your color, your skin. If I can see it, we're going to go get him. And she had an officer come and they went to go get him. And as of October 13th, 2025, we have been divorced for 13 years. Endurance is victory. It hurts to be hurt. God felt it too. This is what endurance looks like. Because y'all wondering, Morgan, did you forgive this man? Yes, I did. I had to. Not only for me, but for my daughter and my granddaughter that is a descendant of him. Because if I held on to all that hurt, if I held on to all that pain, if I held on to all that bitterness, all that anger, all that sadness, all that disappointment, that would have spilled on my daughter. That would have spilled on my granddaughter. And then when they would get in relationships with men, they wouldn't know what it looks like to truly forgive somebody. Endurance is victory. It hurts to be hurt. Guys, please check out my channel, Morgan Rees Life Speaker. Subscribe to my channel today if this message resonated with you. Tell me your journeys of the things you've been through with domestic violence. I've been through a journey. I've been through a life. I persevered. I overcame. I am resilient on purpose because of God's grace. This is what God's grace looks like. But this is also what forgiveness looks like. I forgave my parents. I forgave my ex-husband. I forgave my family, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins who do not know how to love me, who do not know how to embrace me, who refuse to understand me, to know who I am. I am Morgan Rees Life Speaker. Check me out on my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, my podcast show, Good Morning Black People, where I'm interviewing people to tell their story, to tell their journey. check out my Life Speaker channel, Morgan Rees Life Speaker. That's Morgan, MorganRees, Life Speaker. Thank y'all for subscribing to my channel. For the ones who have joined me, thank y'all for the love. I am so grateful and thankful for the journey that God got me on. But the first part of your healing you need to do, you have to forgive. Not just the person that hurt you, not just the person who instilled trauma on you, but you have to forgive yourself as well. Forgive yourself for not knowing. Forgive yourself for even if you did know and you still decide to make that choice. Remember, when God places us with somebody, it's because he made the choice, not we make a choice. Because when we make the choice, we go through a roller coaster ride of life. Life be life. And when we make the choice for relationships, when we make a choice for marriages, when we say, I want to get with that person for their money, I want to get with that person for their lifestyle, for what they can give me, or because they're going to make me look good. That's not what God puts marriages together for. Marriage is to be put together for his purpose, for his plan, because Jesus has a plan for us all coming together in love, in love, in love, in love. I'm in love. You need to be in love. And when you got love and you have love inside of you, that's the best thing since sliced bread and peanut butter and jelly. Thank y'all for following me. Follow me, Morgan Rees, Life Speaker. Endurance is victory. Have a great weekend and be blessed.